A lot was being said ever since Gautam Gambhir took over as Team India's head coach. But the last three games, Siddhant, India has tied two and have lost one. Not many expected India to go down in the second ODI against Sri Lanka, but then it certainly happened. Despite Siddhant, Rohit Sharma giving you that fantastic start,
Amazing
India
start.
still didn't manage to chase down 240. I mean, we'll analyze what happened, yes, for sure. But then at the first place, do you actually feel that, or did you actually think that India might lose any of these games?
No, honestly speaking, I think almost every Indian cricket fan, if you ask them right now, they'd say ki they did not expect it. Because you see, Sri Lanka are not one of your big four teams. You do not expect them to be as strong as they were in the past. Let me just give you a stat. India and Sri Lanka bilateral series, not talking about triangulars or Asia
Right,
Cups or
right, right,
anything.
right, right.
In terms of bilateral series, Sri Lanka haven't beaten us since 1997 in an ODI series. So it's massive, right?
It is.
It is 27 years since they last beat us in a bilateral ODI series. So you expect them to give us a fight every now and then, but boss, the way we lost that second game, the way that first game got tied, even that 30-20 international before that, I think a lot of questions being asked right now, and they have to be asked because clearly India, despite fielding a full strength side, let's not
Right,
forget
right, right.
this ODI team doesn't have Jasprit Bumrah. That is the only guy.
And Hardik Pandya as well.
Hardik Pandya, yes, but I'm saying you try to have Shivam Dubey, okay, but Bumrah is the bigger factor here. Bumrah is not there, but you have your batting strength, right?
Batting
You
strength
have
is
Rohit,
there.
you have Kohli, you have the KL Rahul, you have Shreyas Iyer, you have Shubman Gill. Everybody
full
is there.
strength side.
It's a full strength side in terms of batting, and yet, love, just one more stat to highlight how bad it has been. Rohit Sharma, top scorer, right? Your second highest scorer for India in this ODI series
Yeah,
is Akshar Patel.
True.
Is Akshar Patel. So,
But then also the fact that Akshar Patel, yes, is batting higher up the order.
no, but he has scored more runs than the others,
He has-
irrespective. You have got people like Virat Kohli, KL Rahul, Shreyas Iyer, Shubman
that.
Gill, four guys
See,
who were supposed to be much better batters, right? They're first and foremost batters, and they haven't performed to their potential.
True, I completely understand the fact that yes, wins and losses are a part of the game, but then going down against Sri Lanka, you don't expect India to play that bad. And also the fact, like Siddhant said, that you just missed Jasprit Bumrah, but then bowling wasn't an issue at all. Had Jasprit Bumrah been there,
Yeah.
I think it would have been a similar score, right? And it was
No,
the batters,
maybe not. Maybe Jasprit Bumrah. That's the kind of difference on those wickets. Maybe you needed to get Sri Lanka out for 200, not 200,
but I think
probably
still,
170,
it's
180.
not like Sri Lanka scored 350, right?
No, it's not like
India
that.
was
I
chasing
agree.
230 and 240 in the two
and
matches.
with Rohit getting those starts, I'm saying the other batters just haven't done anything at all.
97 for no loss. I mean, I'll again say this, Siddhant. I mean, yes, Sri Lanka is very much capable of beating any side. That's not an issue. And
No, but they were the underdogs. Underdogs by a
I'll
big
still
way.
not say that there are concerns with the Indian side because you obviously know that India is a very good batting unit and they will bounce back. No issues in that. But then the problem here is that there's just one ODI left, and after that, India directly play ODIs in January when you
Yeah.
play against England, and you are virtually left with just four ODIs before the Champions Trophy. And on top of it, there were reports that some of the senior guys wanted to miss this series, but then they were called upon that the management said, "Then no, you have to play it."
My only concern is the senior guys have come in, yes, but what happens now? See, the problem is you don't have enough number of matches for you to figure out your combinations,
Right.
perhaps, because the Champions Trophy is not too far away, guys. Because there are hardly four ODIs,
Four ODIs
before the
now.
Champions Trophy, so that's not a big number. So in those four ODIs, either you will look at selection and you'll say, boss, after these four ODIs, I'll decide this is my best team, or you will have to go with your gut feeling. So, for
They'll
example,
have to go with their gut
like
feeling.
like because if Virat Kohli doesn't perform, okay, in the next four ODIs, will you take him to the Champions Trophy? I think you will take him to the Champions Trophy.
You will.
But what happens with the KL Rahul? Now that's the question, because there's Rishabh Pant also waiting in the side.
But I think Siddhant, also the fact that KL Rahul, yes, he got out on a duck in the last game, but then you cannot count him out.
No, I
Right?
agree. My point
ODIs,
is,
no, just to give perspective.
Gambhir is also in a very weird position right now because he's just come in. Does he decide immediately that KL Rahul, who played really well for you in ODIs in the past couple of years, like
Averages over 50 in ODIs.
so as I said, played really well. But you look at how Rishabh Pant is also in the squad. So there's a problem in your head, right? You are like कि भाई अगर राहुल ने परफॉर्म नहीं किया तो क्या मैं पंत को डालूं, or I give a longer rope to KL Rahul. I think those are the kind of conversations he'll be having in his head, because see, now India can't even win this series. The only thing that they can do with this series is they can tie it at 1-1. Even though what the umpires did in that first game, nobody knows.
We'll come to that. And let's say, now, since you have brought it up, so a very weird thing happened. So the first ODI was a tie, right? When Arshdeep, I don't know why, played that wild heave and he just swung it and got out. And the match was tied. But according to ICC rules, when an ODI gets tied, you have to play a super over. And even if the super over gets tied, you keep on playing one over after the other till you achieve a result. That was changed after that 2019 World Cup final, where England won by boundary count. So, but that's the thing. Not even the umpires, not any player or from the people from the management questioned it that why aren't we playing a super over? It went down as a tie, and the series is now virtually just 2 matches. Right, so
and one already won by Sri Lanka, so he's just left with one.
So that was a bizarre thing that happened. I don't know why isn't much people talking about that, but that's how it is. It's now in the past. But I still feel Siddhant Gambhir, knowing him personally, I think he won't be too much, he won't panic at all, because also considering the fact that the pitches, how they are playing, yes, spin has played a very huge part here, but then it also highlights how Indian batters have actually gone on from being very good players of spin to not reading them too well, right? True. And if I may highlight over here, Virat Kohli's weakness against spin, it's not hidden from anyone.
It's not, but my point is, see, the same guy was player of the tournament in the ODI World Cup, right?
No. What I want to say is, when Gambhir took over, you remember he said that the senior guys need to play Duleep Trophy when they are not playing for India, and there's Duleep Trophy
for tests,
right? Yeah. And even if you take the example of Test cricket, there as well, the main weakness for Virat Kohli has been spin in India. And why has it happened is what I analyze is because he isn't playing too much domestic cricket. Since he got to play for India, he has been playing international cricket, but when there's a break, there's no domestic cricket at all.
But who plays domestic? You tell me how many.
That's the thing.
It's not just Virat Kohli, and I think Virat Kohli gets that.
Yes, true that. But the thing is, why I'm giving Virat's example is for the simple fact because he's your best batter, right? Still at 35, 36, he is your best batter. He has scored the most runs for India at this in this current Indian team. So you want to take his example that why Virat Kohli is failing against spin. So one thing I analyzed was because he isn't playing too much domestic cricket, and if you take example of the previous Indian teams where you have your Gangulis, your Dravids, why they were so good against the
But they were not playing so much international cricket also.
But then they played too much be cricket.
No, but you have to
be selected for internationals.
You have to also understand the difference between what was happening in that era.
I'm not saying that they should play domestic cricket. I'm saying that since they are not playing,
I got your point.
We are not
but you cannot contest the fact that the number of matches that are being played today, it's humongous. Like the number is humongous. How many times do you remember us or like anybody getting a 40-day break between two series? This is the first time it's happening in years. I'm not even sure how many years. Either the first string side is playing or the second string side. At times there's a third string side that's being sent also for tours like Zimbabwe. So you have to look at it like that. I think there's just too much cricket. Earlier, between tours, you used to have a 40 to 50-day break at least, bare minimum. And that's why these players like Rahul Dravid, Sachin Tendulkar were all playing Challenger Trophy, were playing, Ranji Trophy finals and all that was happening. Now the problem is most of the times they think because IPL also wasn't that big a, like if you look at it before 2008, IPL wasn't there. That takes away 2 months of your calendar. So
true that.
A lot of other factors are in place, what I'm trying to say.
What I mean is, you expect your junior cricketers to play Ranji Trophy, right? And
Yeah,
that's
because they're
something
not playing
that
international
BCCI has
cricket.
taken a stand on, that if someone actually goes out due to injury, you will have to play domestic cricket to
Yeah, that
come back
makes
into the
sense.
Indian team.
That is true because you have to prove your fitness, right? The problem is when you're not, because you understand people undergo yo-yo test
Hmm.
before every series any which way. So if
I
you're
think yo-yo
not,
test,
if
that's a discussion for some other
you
day.
know,
But
I'm
then
saying
it's not a yardstick
if
for
no, but if you're not fit, you won't pass it. I'm saying
fitness.
so
Yes,
for anybody who's coming
but
after injury
then
like
what I
Mohammad
mean is for
Shami
skill.
is. No, for skill, I get it, but these Indian guys are playing them. Kuldeep Yadav, you'll be facing in the nets also, right? You'll be facing Akshar Patel also in the nets. Like, be it Virat Kohli, be it Rohit Sharma. I think it's not just domestic cricket. I think it's also the kind of gameplay that there is. Certain times, you're just not good enough to that ball. And yes, there's a clear doubt. But you look at Rohit Sharma also. How many times does he get out to the pull shot? But you would say he is a
Yeah,
brilliant player
because
of
he
the pull
gets most
shot
of his runs
because he's a
against with the
brilliant
pull
player of
shot
the
as
pull
well.
shot.
Na?
So I think we are trying to read too much into it. Yes, Virat Kohli to an extent, his record against spin has diminished a little in the past few years. I would completely agree with that, but I won't say it's limited to him not playing domestic cricket because
I'm not saying it's limited to him. That's just a theory that I
no,
had in
I
mind, and also the fact that
I
Virat, yes,
disagree.
he has a bad record against the spinners, but then the way he gets out sometimes, he is just left baffled, as if he didn't know what happened.
No, I think that's just Kohli being animated about everything. I think that's just the reaction he gives out. If a Steve Smith also does it, that people are like, "कि भाई कितना excited है ये out होने के बाद भी," or like, "Look how pissed he is." But that's just Virat Kohli for
Yeah,
you.
true
He's
that.
always showing those emotions out on his face
But
for
in
everything.
ODIs, I think Virat's comeback is round the corner. In ODIs specifically, because in
I think
T20 internationals, he already played a 75 run knock in the final.
no, what I'm saying in the ODI World Cup, he was your player of the tournament. So what comeback are we talking about?
Comeback as in if Virat Kohli fails for a couple of matches,
You can't say couple of matches.
because you don't
By the way,
associate failures with Virat Kohli.
he's.
Na?
I think he's still your third of like. I think Shubman Gill has 51 runs. Kohli has 48 runs in 2 innings. Uh, so yeah, not good enough. Yeah, 48 runs in two
From
innings.
Kohli's standards, I think
That is
I'll be
why- that
happy
is
if
why.
Kohli scores 100 in the next match because I seriously want to see
I
him.
genuinely don't think these pitches will see. You'll see anybody score 100.
Why not? I mean,
Nobody-
they can. They can.
I
You never know.
The way everybody is falling like 9 pins, ball is turning, everybody is finding it difficult, be it Sri Lankan, be it Indian batters. I think, and you see, there's this thing where they get into the 20s, 30s, and then they get out. A lot of them, a lot of
No,
them.
also the fact, yes, let's move ahead from Virat Kohli now, and I think the youngsters should also bear the brunt. Shivam Dube playing up the order, I think, yes.
First game he
Rohit
got us
Sharma
close. First game he got us close,
got us
but then
close,
got
yes,
out at
because
the
he played down the order as well.
very
Rohit
wrong
Sharma,
time.
after the match, said that they actually wanted a left hand, right hand combination, so that's why they pushed him up the order. Would you read too much into it, or would you say that Shivam Dube is fine? I mean, just this one game. That
I think couple of games. Let's see how he goes in the third one. And
But
the
I think the lower position suits him.
low position
You
suits him. See, the problem is I don't
because
know.
what Indian team has done here is now. See, they have tried Washington Sundar up the order. They
They've
have
tried
tried
Akshar
Akshar Patel and Shivam Dube as well. So I think they are missing that left-hander in the middle order,
Yeah,
which they are desperate.
That is why I said you never know. They might draft in Rishabh Pant for somebody, and I think there's nobody else that be looking either Shreyas Iyer because you know your openers Virat Kohli, three of them will be there.
Yeah.
After that, you have to decide whether it's going to be Rishabh Pant. Even though I believe KL Rahul deserves that place in the side for now.
I think K. Rahul will stay.
Yeah, maybe, but that's what Shreyas Iyer was so good in the World Cup. KL Rahul was so good. So you don't know, and that is precisely why Rishabh Pant is currently on the bench. So maybe we are reading a little too much into it, and they have been told, "Ki listen, we're gonna keep trying Shivam
Yeah.
Dube and Akshar Patel or Washington Sundar up the order just in case." But I think that could also be problematic because you're trying to change the order way too much. You're
But
like
also,
किसी को
can I-
5
can
पे
I-
भेज रहे हो, किसी को 6 पे भेज रहे हो, then suddenly like कि शिवम दुबे 8 नंबर पे आ रहा है because हमें तो पहले ऊपर राइट हैंडर लेफ्ट हैंडर पता नहीं क्या क्या
I
गेम
want to
चल रहा
quickly
है.
say here, Washington Sundar, by the way, has been nominated for ICC Player of the Month award.
He
What has he done?
4 wickets he has taken. He's your highest wicket taker for India in this series.
So, okay. For that, if he gets
Also in
ICC Player
no,
of
but
the
in
Month award.
T20I series also he did really well.
I don't remember really well, but yeah, okay.
Zimbabwe भी तो था भाई.
Zimbabwe. Acha, you consider Zimbabwe?
You have to. How many matches did we see in this month? So you have to consider Zimbabwe, right? And they
True
played
that.
quite a few T20s there. I'm
And,
not even sure what exactly we're talking about. What we're talking about? Will the real Indian team show up? Because clearly the batters haven't. The bowlers are doing what they could do in the absence of Jasprit Bumrah. I think if anybody's pointing a finger at Jasprit Bumrah,
you know
not
what we
being
were
there,
talking about? We were just a little confused, like most of the people who would be watching.
Okay, what
this.
is happening with
But
this
what is
Indian
happening?
team?
Should we actually read too much into it? Should we actually say that let it be? हो जाएंगे ठीक मतलब कुछ ऐसा सोचने की बात नहीं है. So that's
What would
the
you say?
confusion.
What would you say? सोचने की बात है नहीं है दो
I
match.
think no. I think no.
I think yeah, you got to give it some more time.
Yeah, I think it's too early to say that. Yes, you would judge it to an extent that because it was the start of the Gambhir era, and you would say that the ODIs haven't started like most of us expected them to. But then I think this Indian team will bounce back. Obviously, they'll have.
I'm guessing
After all,
so.
at the end of the day, it's Rohit Sharma's side. It has Virat Kohli in it. They'll have to bounce back, and I think once Hardik Pandya and Jasprit Bumrah also return, it will be a completely different unit.
Yeah, but that we'll get to know later, only so late that we won't even know like whether it is working or not. I think Jasprit Bumrah, of course, without a doubt, he has been given rest, makes sense. But you look at what's happening with the batting unit. I just hope they get back to form. Otherwise, you know Gambhir will have quite a few things to think about.
Yeah.
So let's see how that goes.